Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest, and today I'm going to check out from Well People the Narcissist Foundation Stick. Retails for $28.99 for 0.4 ounces of product. Comes in 8 different shades, basically none. I've got the second lightest shade, Fair Pink. The lightest shade, Pale Ivory, is a warm undertone, so I go for neutral to cool. I originally found this brand at Target, but they are now also being carried online at Ulta. The foundation is currently getting 4.3 out of 5 stars on Ulta's website in terms of their reviews, and that is with 49 total reviews. This is one of those clean brands. It's described as a feel-good, creamy foundation stick that instantly melts into skin, giving a fresh, healthy glow. The modern stick design, good for travel, blah, 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 blah. Breakthrough formula delivers a weightless satin, soft, focused finish while balancing skin tone and diminishing imperfections. It contains premium, natural, and organic ingredients. No film, no grease, no crease. I'm going to point out an interesting distinction. The Ulta website describes it as diva-friendly perfection, while the Target website describes it as Instagram-friendly perfection. What's the difference? The divas shop at Ulta? I don't know, that seems odd. But this is basically it's an oil-based formula. Lots of different oils, seed oils, natural extracts, etc. Definitely not your traditional ingredient deck for most foundations that I have looked at. There is no obvious added fragrance in the list here. There are no alcohols in the list. There's a ton of stuff that is not in this foundation. No petrochemicals, no artificial preservatives, no GMOs, no parabens, no dyes, no fragrance, no sulfates, no phthalates, no glycols, no nanoparticles, no thousands of other potentially toxic ingredients. I will say though, they are cruelty-free, but this foundation is not vegan. They do have beeswax in the ingredients, and they don't mention it as being any kind of synthetic, non-bee related beeswax. So if you consider the use of animal products to prevent it from being vegan, it is not vegan. So let's take a look at this second lightest shade, Fair Pink, swatched against a few others in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation from Well People, the Narcissist Stick Foundation in shade Fair Pink. Second, I've got from Hourglass, the Vanish Stick Foundation in Shell. Third up, a stick foundation I love in a shade that works well for me from Makeup Revolution. This is the Fast Base Stick in shade F3. Fourth, I've got the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. And last up, I've got from MAC, the Mineralized Foundation in shade NW13. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 45-year-old face. I like to cover up my sun damage. I have texture between my eyebrows, some large pores that like to come out screaming, you know, the fine lines, all that stuff. I am normal to dry. I'm pretty dry this time of year. My skin dehydrates quite easily throughout the day. I have, since this is an oil-based foundation, I decided to prime with an oil-based primer. This is the Physicians Formula Natural Defense Protect Your Prime Oil Sunscreen. Loving this stuff. For an oil-based primer, it actually does really nice smoothing. I don't know how. It's like magic. And it's got sunscreen in it, which, you know, don't use it as your primary sunscreen. Put sunscreen on underneath, but never a bad thing. I have a dampened sponge here. Typically, stick foundations usually work best with a paddle brush for me, so I also have my RT Solval 7. Probably going to be the winner of the two. Generally, it's either fingertips, so you get the warmth of your body helping to warm up the stick, or a paddle brush tends to be the way these stick foundations work best for me. Yep, typical stick format here. Let's start with the sponge side, I suppose. This does not have as much product coming off as I anticipated. Very, very, very light coverage with the sponge. I'm not even sure there's any coverage really. It has smoothed things out just a little bit, but I don't see any color correction happening. You know, I still see all my sunspots. I still see all the redness on my nose and the redness on my chin. Let's try the brush side and see if we get a little bit better results in terms of coverage and blending. Yeah, this is a lot easier to blend out with the brush, and it is giving just a bit better coverage. It's still very, very light coverage, I would say, but you can at least control where the product is and kind of even out the distribution of the product with a brush. I'm going to try and build this up just a little bit, and I'm pressing a little harder on my face to get more product off the stick, which seems to be helping. But let's try and build this up just a little bit. I think this is a very pretty, slightly dewy finish. It is very, very comfortable on the skin. It just feels like hydrating oils, you know? It's got a very hydrating feel to it. A little bit tacky. We'll see if I end up having to set it. If we get a look up close, what it seems to do, if you do have dry skin, it is kind of accentuating the edges of any flaking skin that might be going on, or drier areas of the skin. In those areas, it seems to just sit on top of the skin and then accentuate those edges. I'm seeing it on my nose. I am seeing it in between my eyebrows. I'm seeing it a little bit on my cheeks. And, you know, when you've got dry skin going on, that is not something you tend to want to accentuate. I'm only seeing it in my 10x mirror. I don't see it looking at the monitor here, so I feel like that may be just an up close kind of an issue. I'm also having a little bit of polka dot pores starting on my nose. I'm trying to kind of tap them out and blend them out, and they don't seem to want to go away. I'm just kind of removing the coverage, and that's not what we want because my nose is beet red like Rudolph, so I need some coverage. So, that's where I'm at with this one. There's some where's my phone? It's in my pocket. Let's take a look at what time. Holy messages. I haven't checked my phone in a while. It is 12:40 p.m. I'm going to go put the rest of my face on. I'll be right back. Okay, I did end up setting my entire face with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. Actually tried to kind of buff it into submission, and, you know, I don't think it helped. It didn't harm the finish, which is good. Sometimes setting with powder can kind of make things go awry when you have a nice dewy finish, but I still think the luminosity is... I didn't put highlight on today. I can't not wear highlight. What? Should I not wear highlight? No. 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 Mm-mm. Nope. 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 Just a little, at least. Don't try to use the monitor. You'll put highlight on your nose. Oh, I'm playing with a new monitor and it doesn't mirror the picture the way the camera does. So I see things on the wrong side. Oh. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that feels better. Okay. Yeah, so powdered, meh, not super pleased. In the monitor, at a distance, I think this looks okay. Just okay. That's what we got. I did try a new blush today from Hourglass. I haven't had any stuff from them in a while. It's the Ambient Lighting Blush in Diffused Heat, and it's really pretty. Balm Desert is my bronzer. My eyes, this was sent to me by a subscriber. I did not verify if she wanted to be mentioned by name or not, and so I'm going to err on the side of privacy and just say thank you very much, you know who you are. I've had this for a while now, and I'm just now getting around to playing with it. It is from Profusion, and I enjoyed it. I think the shimmers were beautiful, and the mattes blended out easily. I do wish there was like a more dark gray to black shade in here. There's not, but one thing I will say, if you're trying to get away with using kind of a loud color or something a little more outside the box, like, you know, teal, and not look like Mimi from the Drew Carey show, just ground it with some earth tones. You can really get away with a lot when you're just grounding things with earth tones. It kind of makes it a lot more wearable. Wearable, I say, because you know I don't believe any of that. You wear what you want and what makes you feel good regardless. That's all I care. I'd wear this blue if it was grounded or not grounded. But that's one trick you can use to kind of get away with louder colors and make them a little bit more, would we call it work appropriate? I'd wear this to work too, so you know I don't play by all those games. But for those of you that abide by those rules, it's a way that you can kind of expand your color palette without going too far off the deep end. My lip is another one of the Alter Ego liquid lipsticks. I am loving this formula. It does not dry out my lips. This one is in the shade Infamous. We're probably getting out of the season of wearing vampy lips, but I thought it went well with the earth tones that I was grounding with, so I'm wearing it, because you know I don't play by those rules either. So I will be back in a bit with a daylight check-in. We'll check the color match on this one, and then I'll be back tonight. I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Hey guys, we are about 4 hours in at this point, and not much has changed. I think this looks okay at a distance, but I'm still not a huge fan. It does feel now kind of, but there's just like an oily residue to it, and I am feeling a little dry, which is unusual because it's really just a bunch of oils. But I think the color match works, but yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of how this one looks. I'm gonna step to the side, see if we can get some sunlight. Filtered through some leaves, but at least you can kind of see how it looks. Without the shadow of the phone in my face. I will be back tonight, and we will wrap this one up. 11:48 p.m. That puts us right around the 11-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Well People foundation stick held up. Not a big fan of this one. Not much has changed. It's breaking down at this point. Lots of gunking up, lots of patchy coverage, lots of settling into lines. Let's just zoom in, you guys. We've got settling into deep lines, breaking apart along my smile lines and the movement lines around my mouth. My chin has lost most of its coverage. My nostrils have lost most of their coverage. My nose has polka dot pores. The texture between my eyebrows has outlines of all of the dry skin that has product kind of gunking up around that area. It is just kind of a hot mess. Even on my cheeks and the sort of the sides of my nose, it is gunking up and clinging to edges of skin that really aren't... My skin's not that bad today. It's really not. I mean... yeah, it's just accentuating all the things that if you have dry skin, you don't want accentuated. On top of that, the finish, I think, looks pretty, but it doesn't feel pretty. It feels greasy, and I'm curious if I touch my forehead, if you're going to be able to tell the grease spots. You can see it on my fingers. If it stops focusing on my eyes, it's just greasy. And I know there's a lot of oils. There are a lot of oils in this formula, but they don't really sink into the skin. You know, I'll have to look them up. When you talk about oils in skincare, makeup, that kind of thing, some oils have molecules that are small enough to penetrate the skin and Like, you'll have them in skincare and they can actually help bring your skincare active ingredients deeper into the skin, which is a good thing. And then there are oils that have molecules that are too big to sink into the skin, and they kind of form a protective barrier, which is good if you're trying to keep bad things out. But if they just tend to sit on your skin, they're not really doing hydration. They're not helping to add moisture to your skin, and they're potentially breaking down and just sort of, my guess is that there are more larger molecule oils that are just sitting on top of the skin, and that's why I don't feel like I'm getting the hydration that I should be. That's why I feel like I'm getting really kind of dry at this point. It's only slightly drying, but drying nonetheless. I did not expect it to be drying whatsoever, considering it's oil-based. I thought it was going to be wonderfully hydrating. I don't think it is. So if I had to give a grade to the well people, what is this? Notorious? What is the name? Narcissist. I knew it was something. For dry and maturing skin, I think it's a fail. There just aren't enough things. If you don't have dry skin and you don't have maturing skin, it might be very pretty on you. But I can't really imagine wearing this with oily skin, and I really can't recommend it for dry or maturing skin, so I don't know who should wear this, but that is my final answer. Final answer. We have an F on our hands, people. I mean, not a 0 F, but like a 55 F. There you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books. If you enjoy foundation reviews, if you would like to see more of them, let me know down in the comments down below what you would like to see next. Thumbs up helps my channel grow. I appreciate it. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it. I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.